Hello everybody. Now we're going to a very interesting episode about Chinese people's religion. China's spiritual switchboard. Why China looks Buddhist but thinks in three different systems. Many of you look at China and think China is Buddhist, and honestly, that makes sense. Buddhist temples are visible. Buddha statues are visible. Incense monks, Shaolin Si. Zen is marketable. Meditation is exportable. A Buddha head looks very good in a yoga studio, even when nobody knows why it is next to a scented candle. So from the outside, China can look Buddhist, but that's only the surface. Because Chinese spiritual life doesn't work like one religion with one membership card. It works more like a switchboard. When Chinese people need social order, they often turn to Confucian logic. When they need escape from social pressure, they turn to Taoist imagination. When they face suffering, death, karma, funeral, they turn to Buddhist rituals and language. When life becomes truly complicated, they use all of them, sometimes in the same wake, same house, or sometimes at the same funeral. That's why China is so confusing to you. The most visible part is often Buddhist. The deepest social structure is often Confucian. The most poetic escape route is often Taoist, and sacred is the everyday sacred is mixed with ancestors, feng shui, local gods, luck, fate, family, and paperwork. China is not simply Buddhist. It's a spiritual operating system with too many tabs open. You often identify religions through image. A church means Christianity. A mosque means Islam. A synagogue means Judaism. Judas. How do you spell it?
Judaism.
Judaism. A temple with a Buddhist statue, that must mean Buddhism. The way of seeing makes sense in the West, but because religion is often imagined as belonging. What do you believe? Where do you worship? What doctrine do you accept? What religion identity do you claim? But in China, religion often appears less as identity and more as practice. Not always Buddhist, but my grandma burns incense. My family visits ancestral graves. My mother prays to Guan Yin. My uncle checks feng shui before buying an apartment. My classmates visit a temple before exam. My family invites monks for a funeral. My parents say they don't believe in religion, but still awaits unlucky dates. This is not a Western-style religious identity. This is lived ritual. So when you see Buddha statue and think China is Buddhist, but the real answer is more complicated. China use it, absorb it, and domesticate Buddhism. Buddhism is the most visible exportable part of Chinese spirituality. It gives you temple statues, robes, incense, bells, chanting, caves, pagodas, monks, sacred mountain, cinematic folk, excellent thumbnail material. Confucianism is much harder to film. How do you film filial piety? How do you film hierarchy? How do you film the emotional pressure of a family dinner or a child automatically lowering his voice in front of elders? How do you film the invisible rule that says, don't embarrass the family, don't talk back? Know your place, be sensible. That's Confucianism at work, not always in temple. Often at dinner table. not always in prayer, often in posture, not always in belief, or often in shame. Then there is Daoism. You may recognize it through symbols, yin yang, the negative and positive, Tai Chi, Qi Gong, mountains, water, feng shui, meditation, go with the flow. A very common with the long beard saying something mysterious while standing near a waterfall. Peaceful and marketable, very easy to print on a t-shirt. But Taoism not just relax, bro. Taoism is China's great countermovement. Confucianism say enter society, fulfill your roles, serve the family, serve the state, become useful. Taoism say maybe society is insane, ambition is a trap. The fish is happier in the river than in your moral lecture. The person who refuses again is not a failure, but the only sane one in the room. That's why Taoism matters so much to Chinese scholar. You know, the Zhuangzi I've talked about is Taoism. That's why Taoism matters so much. And when they succeeded, they sounded Confucian. When they failed, they were exiled, ignored, demoted, or politically destroyed. Suddenly the mountain became very attractive. This is the key. Traditional Chinese people did not always need to choose a system. The system has had different jobs. Confucianism held social order, Taoism held cosmic escape, health, nature, and a dream of withdrawing. Buddhism handled suffering, karma, rebirth, death, compassion, and funeral. Folk religion handled everyday negotiation with the invisible. Kitchen god, city god, earth god, ancestors, auspicious dates. That's why Chinese spirituality feels so flexible. Child misbehaving, Confucianism. Career failure, Taoism. Mother died, Buddhism. New restaurant opening, feng shui, incense, firecrackers, and probably one uncle who says he know a temple that really worked. China did not build one exclusive religion. It built a spiritual switchboard. The straight teaching unity doesn't mean three religions holding hands politely for a cultural tourism poster. It means something. They collided, they borrowed, they competed, they translated each other, they criticized each other, and eventually they learned how to live inside the same civilization. Confucianism look at Buddhism and say, you leave home, you abandon family, you don't continue the ancestral line. Suspicious. Buddhism look at Confucianism and say, you think family and office can solve suffering? Cute. Taoism look at both and say, you are all trying too hard. But over time, China did what China often does. It absorbed the conflict and made it useful. Buddhism became more filial. Taoism became more ritualized. Confucianism borrowed metaphysical depths. Popular religion mixed all of them into everyday life. Chinese civilization did not solve contradiction. It domesticated contradiction. The best way to explain this to you is Journey to the West. At first glance, it looks like Buddhist story. A monk goes to India to get scriptures. But actually, it's China's spiritual crossover universe. Tang monk is Buddhist. Sun Wukong has Taoist immortality training. Heaven looks like an imperial bureaucracy. The Jade Emperor behaves like a cosmic emperor. Guan Yin is a compassionate rescue system. Demons have political connection. The underworld keeps records. Dragon manage water like regional official. Before Marvel built a cinematic universe, China already had one. Monks, immortal, dragon, demons, heavenly bureaucrats, magical weapons, and then an unbelievable amount of paperwork. It's not random fantasy. It shows how Chinese religion works. Everything spiritual becomes social. Everything cosmic becomes administrative. Even heaven has hierarchy. Every hell, um, even hell has fires. Journey to the West is not just a Buddhist story. It's a Chinese spiritual crossover universe. We reach the philosophical heart. Confucianism was extremely strong in ethics, family, education, duty, ritual, government, self-cultivation, but Buddhism and Daoism had something Confucianism needed: cosmic depths. They spoke about emptiness, mind, suffering, liberation, Tao, nature, Qi, transformation, and in Song Ming Dynasty, Confucian thinkers rebuilt Confucianism into something deeper. Neo-Confucianism didn't simply repeal moral laws. It developed ideas like principle, human nature, mind, moral cultivation, and the structure of reality. That's Confucianism getting a metaphysical upgrade. Neo-Confucianism borrowed depths from them. They sent that depths back to work for Confucian order. It did not usually say escape family and society. Say find cosmic principle inside moral duty. Find ultimate truth inside the ethical order. Find the universe inside self-cultivation. So now we understand it more clearly. China is not spiritually empty. China is spiritually layered. It has Confucian roles, Taoist escape, Buddhism suffering, ancestor memorial, local gods, feng shui, fate, ritual, family, state order. That's rich. But the deepest question remains: what is the human being before all these systems claim him? Before family say yes, you're a son. Before the state say you're a subject. Before school say you're a score. Before ritual say you have a place. Before karma say you have a debate. Before ancestors say you must continue the line. What is left? This is where the comparison with the West becomes meaningful. The West is not morally innocent. It has slavery, empire, racism, war, hypocrisy, and enough historical guilt to fill several museums. But Western tradition developed powerful question around the person. Is there a soul before the state? Is there a law above the king? Can conscience resist authority? Does dignity come from something power did not create? Chinese civilization often asks, how can a person be harmonized into family, ritual, cosmos, and order? There are different questions, and civilization are shaped by question, by repeat. So, why do you think China is Buddhist? Because Buddhism is visible. It gave China statues, temple, monks, incense, cinematics, spirituality. But Chinese faith is not only what's visible. Under the Buddhist image, there is Confucian grammar. Around the Confucian grammar, there is Taoist myth. Beneath all of it, their ancestor, local god, family memory, luck, fate, shame, duty, and the invisible negotiation of everyday life. China's spiritual world is not a single church. It's a crowded house. Confucian in the main hall. Lao Tzu is near the back door, suggesting everyone calm down. Buddhism in the funeral room, explaining suffering. The ancestors are at the table. The kitchen guy is taking notes, and somebody's aunt is checking whether tomorrow is an auspicious day. It's funny, but it's also profound. Because Chinese civilization did not survive by choosing one answer. It survived by layering answer. But the layered civilization still face one final question. After all the rituals, God, duty, ancestor, all cosmic system, can you still see the individual person? A role is not yet a self. A ritual is not yet dignity. A universe is not yet freedom. And a civilization is not measured only by how many words it can absorb. It is measured by whether, after absorbing all those words, it can still protect one human being standing alone.